Welcome back to B&B for Phone, your ultimate destination for the most explosive daytime drama breakdowns. Today is a beautifully chaotic day in the world of Los Angeles fashion, and we have a monumental crisis to dissect. Grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, and let's dive right into the madness. Let's be honest. The latest Forrester Creations fashion show was an absolute, unmitigated shipwreck in more ways than one. I mean, can you believe it? For decades, this iconic fashion house has been the gold standard of elegance, grace, and untouchable glamour. They were the undisputed kings and queens of the runway, always presenting a united, flawless front to the flashing cameras and the adoring public. But those days of pristine perfection seemed to be completely vanishing right before our very eyes. The recent showcase was supposed to be a triumphant display of their latest designs, a testament to their enduring legacy in the fashion world. Instead, it devolved into a spectacular public relations nightmare that has fans and fashion critics alike picking their jaws up off the floor. We are witnessing a monumental shift in the balance of power, and it is absolutely fascinating to watch unfold. But here's the surprise. While Forrester Creations is publicly imploding, the Logan camp is proving that they have a massive, calculated advantage. Katie Logan Spencer has just launched her new Logan fashion house, and she is playing the corporate game with a ruthless, icy precision. The Logans are keeping their petty dramas out of the media, projecting an image of stability and forward-thinking innovation. Meanwhile, the Forresters, who have historically prided themselves on keeping their deep, dark, personal emotions strictly behind closed doors, are suddenly bleeding their family trauma all over the tabloids. For years, they considered themselves the absolute top of the class, the untouchable elite of Los Angeles. Is this catastrophic fashion show and the subsequent media circus going to permanently ruin their legendary reputation and legacy? That is the burning question on every fan's mind right now. And you won't believe what happens next. The true disaster didn't even happen on the runway. It happened during what was supposed to be a standard, complimentary press interview with the patriarch himself, Eric Forrester. The interview clearly, undeniably, and spectacularly went off the rails. Eric, usually the voice of reason and the steady hand guiding the family, completely lost his filter. He simply would not stop talking about the Spencers. Instead of highlighting the beautiful garments, the intricate stitching, or the hard work of successor characters like R, J, and Electra, Eric hijacked his own press time to air decades of bitter, toxic grievances. It was a stunning display of raw, unedited emotion that left everyone in the room utterly paralyzed. That's crazy. Why would a seasoned veteran of the industry completely abandon the script and risk his company's entire stock value just to vent about a rival family? Let's dig deep into the psychological profile of Eric in this explosive moment. He squarely and aggressively blamed Dollar Bill Spencer for sparking this renewed Forrester-Spencer war. Now, as longtime viewers, we know the bad blood between Eric and Bill runs incredibly deep. Bill has always been the aggressive shark circling the Forrester yacht, trying to take bites out of their business and their women. But Eric's sudden public fixation on Bill is incredibly telling. It reveals a deep-seated insecurity and a profound exhaustion. Eric is tired. He is tired of the constant battles, the corporate espionage, and the relentless attacks on his family's honor. By lashing out at Bill in front of a reporter, Eric is essentially screaming for validation. He wants the world to know that the Forresters are the victims of Spencer aggression. But in doing so, he is breaking the cardinal rule of high society PR. Never let them see you sweat. But here's the surprise. Eric didn't just stop at Bill. He went incredibly far, crossing a massive line by publicly calling young Will Spencer a hothead. Amazing. Now, let's connect the dots here, because this is where the plot twists get incredibly juicy. We know from our exclusive behind-the-scenes timeline that Will Spencer and R.J. Forrester recently got into a violent, physical scuffle right in the middle of the Forrester Creations offices. They were fighting over the exposure of Ivy's toxic manipulation and their messy love quadrangle with Elektra and Dylan. Eric clearly knows about this fight. He knows that Will came into his building and threw down with his grandson R.J., who is currently channeling the aggressive, dark energy of his Massimo Marone heritage. Eric calling Will a hothead to the press is a direct, calculated shot at Katie and Bill's son. It's Eric's way of saying the Spencer toxicity is generational. But exposing this to the media? That is a fatal error. And you won't believe what happens next. Ridge Forrester, seeing his father completely unraveling on camera, desperately tried to pull Eric away from the interview. Picture the intense suspense of this scene. Ridge, the current co-CEO, is sweating bullets, physically trying to intervene and shut down the cameras. But it was completely ineffective. Eric was on a roll, fueled by years of pent-up rage, and he had so much more to say. Ridge's psychological state right now must be an absolute nightmare. Think about what Ridge is already dealing with behind the scenes. He is currently being seduced by Brooke, who is actively trying to manipulate him into stripping his own daughter, Steffy, of her co-CEO title so Brooke can take over and protect Hope. Ridge is drowning in a massive corporate and family power struggle, and now his father is pouring gasoline on a public relations fire. Ridge is trapped between the women he loves and the father he respects, and he is losing control of all of them. Despite Ridge's frantic attempts at damage control, Eric absolutely refused to take a single word back. He stood tall, looked right into the camera, and declared that everything he said was the absolute, unfiltered truth. Can you believe it? This wasn't a slip of the tongue. This was a deliberate declaration of war. Eric is essentially burning the ships. By refusing to retract his statements, he is forcing the entire Forrester family to stand behind his aggressive stance. He is drawing a line in the sand, daring the Spencers, specifically Katie and Bill, to retaliate. This completely shatters the slow-paced plot we've been experiencing and injects a massive dose of high-stakes adrenaline into the storyline. Eric is no longer playing the role of the benevolent, peaceful patriarch. He has become a wartime general, and he doesn't care who gets caught in the crossfire. Let's be honest. The interviewer was absolutely delighted with this unscripted, chaotic session. For a journalist, catching a titan of industry having a public meltdown is the holy grail. They didn't want to talk about hemlines and fabric choices. They wanted blood, and Eric Forrester handed it to them on a silver platter. The media is going to have a field day with this. The headlines will be brutal, and the board of directors might even start looking for replacement actors to fill the executive seats if this crisis isn't handled immediately. This is exactly the kind of negative press that Katie Logan Spencer can use to her advantage. Remember, Katie is actively trying to lure Hope away from Forrester Creations to join her new Logan brand. With Forrester looking like a chaotic, toxic environment, Liam's arguments for Hope to jump ship are suddenly going to look incredibly logical and persuasive. So, what are our predictions for the fallout of this disastrous interview? First of all, Steffy Forrester Finnegan is going to absolutely blow her top. Steffy is already dealing with the headache of Elektra threatening to quit unless Ivy is fired. When Steffy sees this interview, she is going to realize that her grandfather has just handed their rivals a massive weapon. I predict Steffi will try to use this PR crisis to consolidate her own power, demanding that Eric step back from any public-facing roles. But here's the surprise. Brooke will use this exact same crisis to argue that Steffi is losing control of the narrative, pushing Ridge even harder to make her co-CEO. Brooke will claim that the company needs a strong, stable Logan influence at the top to counteract Eric's reckless behavior. The internal politics at Forrester are about to become a bloodbath. And what about the Spencers? Katie is not going to take Eric calling her son a hothead lightly. Katie is fiercely protective of Will, and Donna has already warned her that poaching Hope will start a family feud. But now that Eric has publicly insulted her son, Katie will feel completely justified in taking off the gloves. I predict Katie will accelerate her plans to destroy Forrester Creations from the outside, using this interview as proof that the Forresters are unstable and unprofessional. Bill Spencer, wherever he is probably laughing his head off, plotting his next hostile takeover attempt. The suspense is truly killing us. Will the Forresters be able to survive this self-inflicted wound, or is this the beginning of the end for their legendary fashion empire? Let's be honest, B&B for Phone family, we love the drama, but this is a devastating blow to the Forrester legacy. Eric's inability to control his emotions has exposed his family to unprecedented danger. The successor characters like R, Jay, Will, and Elektra are already tearing each other apart behind the scenes, and now the patriarch is doing it on the front page of the news. I personally hate seeing Eric lose his legendary composure, but I absolutely love the chaotic energy this brings to the show. It is going to force every single character to choose a side in this escalating war. What do you guys think about the story we've shared today? Do you think Eric was justified in exposing the Spencers, or did he just sign Forrester Creations' death warrant? Let us know all your thoughts, fan theories, and predictions in the comments below. We are so happy to share our deep dive analysis with you, and we cannot wait to discuss this explosive plot twist with our amazing community. Keep your phones handy, because the drama in Los Angeles is only getting hotter.
What do you guys think about today's drama? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for your daily dose of bold and beautiful news. See you in the next video.